Now, I said the boomers like to change the rules. This generation likes to avoid them completely. They grew up without rules. You know, the latchkey kids made their own rules and figured things out on their own. You'll hear phrases from them like workarounds. Can we do a workaround on that? Which is just another way of saying the rules. Avoid the rules. A phrase I hear a lot in meetings is ask forgiveness instead of permission. And in some ways, you know, the internet was perfect for this generation. It's a perfect medium because it just routes around anything that is a rule. It tends to just avoid the rules. There's about 100 different ways on the internet to avoid firewalls and all sorts of other things. One of their, this is a cult favorite with
part
this
of a
group.
team.
And remember, next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Okay, but I could set the building on fire.
Who respect their boss.
We need to talk about your flare.
Well, I have 15 pieces on.
15 is the minimum. Brian, for example, has 37 pieces of flare on today. And a terrific smile.
And need to escape.
I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
One of these days, I just kick this piece of...
I'm thinking now it might be more fun to just get fired. And I've always wondered what that would take.
Oh, Peter, listen.
Well, it looks like you've been missing quite a bit of work lately.
Well, I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
Well, clearly nobody's seen that movie in this audience, so they like their parents. If you ask, they like their parents' music, which we've never seen before. And if you ask them what's the source of advice in your life, it's their parents. Who are your heroes? My parents. Who are your best friends? Your parents. There's this link between this generation and their parents that we just have not seen in a long time. Now, I used to, like, when I first started doing this, I wanted to get people's attention, and I would joke that, you know, you're going to be a manager, you're going to give a millennial kid a bad performance appraisal, and you're going to get a call from their parents in 24 hours. Now, I did this same thing 2 years ago for a group of people that administered law firms all over the country. And nobody laughed. Nobody's jaw dropped open. They all went pale, and I'm like, well, how many people has this happened to already? Out of the 40 people, half had already had the phone call. And one woman had had 6 phone calls in the first 3 weeks of her daughter working for her. Not because anything negative happened, she just wanted to check up on her. Question up front?
Do you believe that because the boomers and the millennials are so much bigger than they're so much more populous than the Gen Xers, that in the workforce somehow the Gen Xers will be once again ignored?
Yes. Yeah, they're going to get sandwiched, especially on the parent-kid thing. You're going to give a kid, you're going to manage somebody, and you're going to get a call from their boomer parents saying, well, you know, Peter Drucker wrote and this, but they're all, you know, versed in all this management stuff. But yeah, they are going to get sandwiched, very much so. And they're going to have to, you know, tap into their survival instinct to kind of manage between it. But I think if you understand where these people are coming from on both sides, I'm hoping that'll help. Question here?
Do some of these traits attributed to each generation, how do they pan out across socioeconomic groups?
You lose some of it. You lose some of the core characteristics. In a lower middle class situation, kids aren't going to feel as special, millennial kids. They're not going to be pressured as much to be involved in all of these things. They're not going to be pressured as hard in college. But you still see a closeness between parents and kids in the millennial generation, really independent of socioeconomic things. Anything else? Question here?
I was wondering to what extent the characteristics of the generations are actually masked by the simple process of aging.
Yes. There are some, like I said, there are phases you go through. But yeah, you see things repeat through generations. I try to slough those off because they are repeating. They aren't differences. They seem like it, but they're just part of being socialized into school. You'll see a lot of the same things. When you get socialized into work, you see some of the same things. And when you get socialized into politics, well, you see a lot of the same things. Back and then front.
So if the millennials like to have things broken down into lots of steps, and they value team, so I guess I'm having a hard time. I'm thinking about managing people of this generation and how you, if you've got a multi-generational workforce, which we do here, how you really get them motivated to come in and do a bunch of steps. That just, obviously I'm not a millennial, so giving me a whole bunch of steps doesn't sound very nice to me.
Right. One thing, there are 3 words that I use with millennials that really tend to motivate them. First of all, they'll be motivated because they are in a team. Teamwork, by definition, motivates them. The other thing I use is make a difference, those 3 words. If they believe they're making a difference for the organization, they'll be motivated.